Hello, this is Feroid from Fantasy Grounds Forge, and I'm going to show you the module that I'm working on for the Cepheus Engine rule set. It's called Project Sci-Fi. It's the working title at the moment. And I'm going to show you how to do some planet mapping using the templates that I created. And I'll have another video or two to cover some of the other functionality like the subsector creation using templates, and maybe one just to show you the rest of the content. So anyway, let's get to planet mapping. This is for the Cepheus Engine rule set, so you'll have to get that, and then you probably want the Cepheus Engine core rules, which is the SRD, which is another product, and that contains the rules and your guns and your stuff. So it's pretty critical. So you want that too. Once you get those two, you can go grab, and the SRD comes with the Cepheus ship records, and that gives you. You go by. I actually created those, and that's. Let's see. So if we look at like any of these, really, like the courier, and it has all the items for ships that you can drop in as. I'll show you here. Vehicle components. So when you're creating your ship through the ship wizard and the rule set, you can modify it afterwards and add to it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, you'll want that. So you want the ship records, which comes with the SRD. So there's actually two modules included in that. And you want, obviously, the Cepheus unit rule set. And then eventually it'll probably be called Project Sci-Fi Sourcebook is the module that I'm working on now. And I'll show you planetary maps. Let's see. So we go to images. And then you want to find, there's a ton of different categories, but you want to go to PSF game aids. And this is just a development environment that I'm doing. So it'll be called Planet Map Template. All the templates will have template in them. This one's called Alpha, but it'll be called probably Planet Map Template 1. And the important part is you want to create a copy of it. So for when I update this module down the road, you don't want it to overwrite Planet Map Template 1 or whatever I call it. You want to make a copy so it keeps that in your personal campaign even when you update or force an update. So when you go to modules, you go to here, you go to revert changes. It won't trash your stuff. So anyway, we just created this copy. So that's a blank template for planet mapping. And the first thing we want to, actually, I created some backgrounds because you don't want to have to fill in let's say you have like 60, 70% water on your Earth-like planet or Terran planet. You don't want to fill in, a couple hundred hexes, probably. You could, but you don't want to. You're gonna want to do some background, so I'll show you that. So we open up assets, and you go to Project Sci-Fi. Just remember my alphabet here. Let me know. There it is. And you go to Game Aids and Planet Maps. And here's your planet mapping assets. What's this? Oh, that's the templates. Oh, great. Now we got to go back. Product Sci-Fi, Game Aids, Planet Maps. That's where it'll be. And we're going to want those. So I got oceans and some desert and some vacuum world backgrounds just to fill in the extra spaces. But we'll do an ocean this time. We'll do like a moon. Oh, so we want it in So we go to layers. You want it unlocked. You have to unlock it first. And we'll give it a name. After we just call it My New Planet. And you probably want to create folders for everything. So I'll show you that as soon as we get this background in. You go layers. Do the vacuum world. Drop it in there. It's going to be big. Click it. And hold shift. Actually, we go to selection. Hold shift to maintain proportions. Get it right about big enough. And hold alt so you can move it without clicking to the grid. And line it up. And then we want to drop it below all the templates. So it's behind the grid, triangles here. Okay, so now we want, let's say we want to add some stuff. So we can add, create a folder, call it, I don't know, planes. Drop it down below the stuff. Make sure we're in that folder. Make sure that folder's selected because we don't want to moving stuff around in folders is kind of janky. We could just use this one. This is just planes. And now it's important to note that the hexes I did are roughly 200 by 200. You don't want that. These are 100 by 100 hexes, so you change that to 1. So, and it'll automatically adjust the other one. It'll lock the aspect. So, yeah, basically just change it to 1 for all the hexes before you drop them in. Otherwise, they'll be 2 and look bigger. And then you just click in the middle of the hex. Oops, it's below. It's below the planet. We don't want that. We want the background below it. There we go. Make sure you're in planes and click away. Make sure you aim for the center of the hex and it'll just put it in there perfect. Maybe we want some mountains, hills. We could create a hills. Oops. Let's create another folder. We got planes. Another folder. Call it hills and mountains. Drop it down to that same area. Make sure it's selected and pick a hill or a mountain. That's a hill, but you can barely tell. There's a 1. Change it to 1. We'll get some hills. And mountains. Of course, we're not in that folder anymore, which is kind of a pain. Hills and mountains. Okay, so we go to selection mode because we don't. If you don't switch to selection mode when you're modifying stuff, it just starts creating more things. These are all we did. Drop them to hills and mountains, please. No. There we go. Dropped it into hills and mountains. So maybe just click on one in there. So make sure we're in there. And once again, we're going to grab the mountain. Now that we're in the right folder, comes in at 2. Switch it to 1. Drop some mountains in there. Whatever you want to do. Say we want to add some volcanic. We'll create another folder. Call it volcanic. Drag it down to the rest of them. And we'll pick any one of these. This one looks like it matches best. To 2, switch to 1. And click in the middle of the hexes. Oops. Sometimes it gets between the hexes. You just hit delete, and it'll delete the last one you did. The more times you hit delete, it just starts deleting the last ones you did in order. Volcanic. And we had, I don't know, volcano. Volcanoes. Switch to one. Put it in there. There you go. You can do anything. Put ice at the top. New folder. Ice. Drop that down. Make sure it's selected. Where's the ice? That's a good one. One. Ice cap volcano. Or ice cap vacuum world. Oops. Keeps putting me outside of the folder. So go back to selection mode. If that happens to you, drop it down to ice. Now we're in ice. And it's important to have ice down here where it's under the templates. The template should be up top, so everything else is under it. So it looks right. We're gonna have to grab ice again. Switch it to one. Make sure we're in ice. There we go. And now you can drop them in and it'll go behind the template, which is what we wanted. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do a whole planet here. I'm just showing you how to do it. Another cool thing is, since there aren't a lot of assets, I try to include as generic assets as I could. I've got like ice, desert, beach, volcanic, forest and greenery, vacuum, and these are just pretty much random ones that I did that you can make different worlds. And then the nice part about FGU is you can change the tint. So, and that's another good reason to put them in a folder and keep things organized. So let's say we want to change the tint of, I don't know, these volcanic ones. Volcanic. We'll select all those with shift. Make sure we're in selection mode. And go to tint, and you can just change the tint a little bit. Or a lot. Well, make it more volcanic, more reddish. Whatever. You can make it yellow, make it any color you want. And you can do that with all of them. So it really increases the usefulness of all the hexes because you can change them a little bit. And we'll add some bases. New folder. Starport bases, whatever you want to call it. Drag it down under the templates. Make sure we're in it. Excuse me. And grab, I don't know. These are from my Starport products, and I just included smaller versions of them because they're basically just little bases and outposts, or can be. They drop it in there. Excuse me. Set it to 1, or whatever size you want, really. And let's say we'll put one there. Of course, it added in the wrong spot. Where's my base? Volcanic ice. I think I created a base. Oh, I call it Starport. My bad. Gotta get to Starport. Make sure we're in there. And you can add more. Oh, you're going to want this one above in the layer stack. There. got to be above those hexes. A little trial and error, moving stuff around. That's why folders are important, so you don't get all messed up. It's easier to move stuff around in the layers. We'll add another base. Whatever. Maybe this one. Oops. My bad. There, set it to 1. Make sure we're in bases or starboards. I'm sorry, starboards. And then we'll put one up here. And I think that's pretty much it for now. I covered most things that I wanted to cover. You can add zones. I created these as a slightly alpha, so if you're trying to highlight a certain spot, you can put these in. Create another folder. You don't have to, but let's say zones. Make a red zone. Set it to 1. Make sure we're in there. Better do it. There you go. Yeah. Just alphas it. And you can increase or decrease the alpha too. So if, let's say we go to selection mode, hold both of those down, go here, and this A is the alpha. So it fades it in and out. If you want just a little bit of red, or if you want really dark noticeable zones, whatever you want to do. There's minimal use in this in planetary maps, but when you get to subsector maps, they're more important. And I think that's about it. Just a bunch of messing around in layers and clicking the hex assets into there. Like I said, I have assets for multiple kinds of worlds, like Terran worlds. You're going to put an ocean in the background and add oceans. You can make the deeper oceans and change the tint to a darker blue, or use a different water hex. Get the beach, the desert, forest, or greenery. And these random ones I think I might have mentioned already, so you can create different kinds of planets and mess with the tint and do whatever you want to extend their usefulness. Got some ice. 2 ices there. I think 3 total. You can also add the effects to it. So let's say we want to put some clouds in here, or dust storms, essentially like a cloud. You can add an FX layer. We'll go to FX. Put clouds in. You want it in the right place in the layer stack, so it just we'll put it there. Yeah, that's good. So it's above everything, but below the templates. Okay, so for the clouds, you can go to make sure it's selected, and we can modify it. And first thing we want to do is enable the mask, and then reveal area, and then just pick the template so the clouds aren't everywhere when you zoom out. They're just within the map where you want it under the template. There's other FXs you can add, but you know, their usefulness is questionable. Oh, I did the water, just the water hexes in one of them, which was kind of cool. In the ocean, those are cool. Yeah, just play around. And I think that's it. The main parts I wanted to really cover were the assets and the fact that the ones that I included are 200 by 200. Um, and when you put them in there, you have to set it to 1. Go back to layers. No matter which hex you pick, it's going to be 2 by something. You want it to be 1. Set it to 1 before you place it. Preferably create a folder and then make sure you're in the folder when you do it. That makes it easier to move stuff around, specific things around. That makes it easier to pick like all of your uh, vacuum hexes and then change the tint or whatever you want to do. That's just for organizational purposes. You can really do it any way you want, but this seems to work the best. And I think, I'm pretty sure that's all I had to cover for planets. Pretty sure I'm done. Like I said, I'll probably make a subsector one on how to make subsectors too. Um, there are different templates I'm playing with, and I'm including them in the main template. So pretty sure they're here. The frame. Oh, here's the template. Is that the template? Turn it off. Oh, that's the hex. That's just the outside frame. Oh, here's the triangles. So if you can pick between those. So right now I have a couple, most of them are disabled. So if you disappear that one, it's just white. Yeah, it's a metal looking one. It's just gray. And that's black. So I'm working on making different ones. And then you can just cycle through them and do whatever you want. Pick the coolest one. I like that one right now. Or plain white. Plain white's nice too. Oh, it's plain white. There it is. Anyway, that's Planet Maps, and happy gaming.